You're watching Autour and we visit Albania. Welcome on Autour. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to like our videos. So today we are again in Albania. We'll visit the Blue High, Gjirokastër, Permët, and we'll finish the day in Vlora. Today, after our earthy breakfast at the hotel, we set off on a long journey through Albania. In fact, we're discovering the southeast of the country by heading north, as we'll be spending the night in the seaside town of Vlora. If we're talking about a long day, it's because we'll have to cover some 275 kilometers. The roads are winding and mountainous, and there's little room for overtaking, so we'll spend around 5 hours on the road between our various stops. Without no doubt, it was one of our best days of our trip. We left Ksamil and headed to our first point of interest of the day, the Blue High. It took us around 50 minutes to drive the 35 kilometers to the site. One of the unforeseen highlights of our trip was this exceptional stop at the Blue High. Where a hydraulic dam now stands, there is in fact an exceptionally clear water source. When they tell you that Mother Nature is a great artist, this is no exception.
Un peu déçu, on aurait dû louer des motos.
Although it's a very long walk to the water hole, don't hesitate to cover the distance. It's well worth the detour. Like us, you might even bump up into some of our fellow citizens along the way.
Je sais, on va essayer d'aller plonger là-dedans.
As you can see, this spring is as pure as its crystalline blue-green color. It's a marvel for the eyes, but also a delight for the taste buds. Of course, like most of the tourists on the site, we couldn't resist taking a dive, even though the water is very, very cold.
Donc Vincent, es-tu prêt psychologiquement?
Je serais
Tu serais prêt?
exagéré, je me mets là-dessus puis je saute.
Mais on peut plus.
It's explained that the underground spring fills up to a deep of 50 meters or more. This is where the river Bistris, which meanders through southern Albania for 25 kilometers, becomes one with the Ionian Sea.
Le moment de vérité.
Under the shadows of the generous vegetation, the blue eyes seems to admire the sky. A bird's eye view of the 180 acres of this protected area supports a breathtaking landscape, with this blue hole measuring some 10 meters in diameter. Albania is a superb country of greenery and mountains. Despite the distance between two places, you should be delighted by the beauty of the panoramas, which can change rapidly from one place to another. So, on our new 50 minutes drive to Gjirokaster, we'll cross the mountains and discover the central plain of the country. Located 215 kilometers south of the capital Tirana, Gjirokaster lies on the slopes of Malii Gjere, which mean the Great Mountain. The area has been inhabited since the 1st century BC, but the present-day town was built around the castle in the 12th century.
Hello! Do you have a map of the city?
With this map, with the map.
The Byzantine called the place Argyropolis, which is the Silver City. There's an exceptional atmosphere in the town, where tourists were few and far between despite the abundance of tourist shops. Be prepared though, as everything slopes from the start to the finish. Nevertheless, the Ottoman style of the place stands in stark contrast to anything we'd seen here since the start of our trip. For its history, the town has undergone several phases of occupation. After the Byzantine, it became part of the Despotate of Epirus in the 14th century, before coming under Ottoman control. It was taken over by the Albanian governor Ali Pasha of Janina in the 19th century and has enjoyed full autonomy ever since. It came under French, Italian, Greek, and German control during the First and Second World Wars before reverting to Albanian rule under the communists. The highlight of the visit is the fortress that stands in the heart of the city. Now a museum of some sorts, it is above all a unique place to stroll and enjoy the exceptional panorama of the city and the entire region.
So we are now in Gjirokastër. It's in Albania. It's a magnificent place. You can see the village down the castle.
If the town is so well preserved, with traditional architecture rarely seen in Albania, it's because it was the birthplace of Enver Hoxha, the communist leader, who turned it into a town museum. In fact, the town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and its old town bears witness to the bygone Ottoman era in this part of the world. The architecture is so characterized by its corbelling, typical of the Balkans.
Je t'annonce que j'ai faim.
Entre les deux cônes.
We had a long discussion before deciding whether to head even further east toward the small village of Permët, right in the heart of the Albanian mountains. We've heard it was a bucolic place with thermal baths, but the 62 kilometers and the 1 hour and a half drive put us off a bit, especially as the return trip to Vlora would take us 2 hours. Road trip enthusiasts that we are, we finally decided to give it a go, even if it's mean arriving much later in Vlora. In the end, it was one of the best decisions we made on the whole trip. Still a lot of road and exceptional scenery, as you can see on these footage. We didn't stop at Permët village, as the baths are just a few kilometers away. By the way, Google Map is in some place not very recommendable, as you will be able to see in the following.
Ouais, mais on dit que c'était un bout.
Beau chemin de terre.
Il me semble que je suis pas sûr.
Mon plan pour peut-être je pensais avoir le plus gros chemin de marde. Plutôt dans le voyage, mais non, qui sont là.
Parce que je pense que c'est plus le chemin en haut.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Welcome to the Bënjë hot springs, one of the most beautiful spots in Albania. We were surprised to see how many people come here to camp. In fact, the place is very, very popular with the Albanian families who come here every day. And we were among the only foreigners there that day. In addition to the exceptional site with its old Ottoman bridge, it's an unexpected place to relax and even therapeutic since the waters are around 28 degrees Celsius. For the record, the resort sulfur-rich waters come from the geothermal gradient, and the current installation date back to the 90s. However, due to local dispute, the work was abandoned, giving the site a useful look of disrepair. And even more interesting is that the site is fully accessible. As well as immersing ourselves in the waters, we had a lot of fun doing a bit of funny drone shots to preserve this precious image.
Alors Vincent, comment on trouve le bain?
Fait du bien. Avec le paysage.
Alors, on est à Permët.
Salut tout le monde.
Et voici Eleventh, mesdames et messieurs.
Le paysage, mesdames et messieurs, le paysage.
Outre notre immersion dans les eaux, nous avons eu bien du plaisir à y faire un peu de drone pour conserver ces précieuses images. Encore une fois, note aux campeurs, vous pouvez camper directement dans le stationnement attenant au lieu, et ce, tout à fait gratuitement.
Alors, nous sommes dans le coin de Permët. Il y a des bains thermaux que vous pouvez voir derrière moi et un pont ottoman qui est magnifique.
After 141 kilometers and 2 hours on the road, we end the day in Vlora, where we eat a bit and will be spending the night.
Hey, d'après toi, regarde le logo. Thanks for watching this new episode of Autour, monde in Greece and in the Balkans. In the next episode, we continue our journey in Albania, visiting the site of Apollonia, Durrës and Shkodër.